It was a warm summer evening in the small town of Millfield. The sun had just set and the streets were quiet. But behind the closed doors of the old abandoned house on the outskirts of town, something sinister was happening. No one knew exactly when the house had become abandoned, but it had been empty for as long as anyone could remember. The townspeople whispered about strange noises coming from the house at night and eerie lights flickering in the windows. One day, a group of teenagers decided to explore the house. They were bored and looking for something to do, and the old abandoned house had always piqued their curiosity. They crept inside, their flashlights illuminating the dusty rooms. But as they made their way through the house, they began to feel a sense of unease. It was as if something was watching them, following them from room to room. They tried to brush it off as their imaginations running wild, but the feeling only grew stronger. They had found a room that was different from the others. It was almost as if the room was alive, pulsating with an energy they couldn't explain. And then they saw her. A woman dressed in a tattered white dress standing in the corner of the room. Her eyes were dark and empty, her hair welled and unkempt. The teenagers were frozen in fear, unable to move. The woman began to move towards them, her footsteps echoing throughout the house. The teenagers turned and ran, their hearts pounding in their chests. They burst out of the front door and ran all the way back to town. But the woman wasn't done with them yet. One by one, the teenagers began to disappear. Their parents searched for them, but they were nowhere to be found. And then one day, a group of hikers stumbled upon the old abandoned house, and what they found inside would haunt them forever. The bodies of the missing teenagers were piled in the room where they had first seen the woman. Their eyes were dark and empty, just like hers. And on the wall, written in blood, were the words, "You can never leave." The townspeople were shocked and horrified by the discovery. They had always known that something was off about the old abandoned house, but they never could have imagined the horror that had taken place inside. Rumors began to circulate about the woman in the white dress. Some said that she was a witch who had cursed the house and the surrounding area. Others said that she was the ghost of a woman who had been murdered there many years ago. No one knew for sure who the woman was, but they all knew that she was dangerous. People began to avoid the old abandoned house, and it became a place of fear and superstition. But there were still some who were brave enough to venture inside. They wanted to uncover the truth about what had happened there, to solve the mystery once and for all. And so they went inside, armed with cameras and flashlights, determined to find out what really lay hidden within the old abandoned house. But they never came out. The house seemed to swallow them up, one by one, until no one dared to enter again. The old abandoned house still stands on the outskirts of Millfield, a reminder of the horror that had taken place inside. No one knows for sure what happened to the people who went inside, but the townspeople say that the woman in the white dress still haunts the house, waiting for her next victims to come inside. And so the old abandoned house remains a place of fear and mystery, a warning to all those who would dare to enter its walls. The town has tried to demolish it, but every attempt has been met with strange and unexplainable occurrences. Some say that the woman in the white dress has cursed the house, and that it can never be destroyed. Others say that there is something buried deep within the house that must never be unearthed. But one thing is for certain, the old abandoned house remains a place of terror and dread, a place where the living dare not go and the dead do not rest. And so it stands, a silent sentinel of the horrors that lie within, a reminder to all those who pass by that some things are better left untouched and some secrets are better left buried in the shadows. As for the woman in the white dress, some say that she still walks the halls of the old abandoned house, searching for her next victims. Others say that she has long since moved on, her curse fulfilled. But one thing is for sure, the town of Millfield will never forget the horror that took place within the walls of that old abandoned house, and they will always remember the terror of the woman in the white dress.